What is up, everyone? My name is Mark.
This is Mo from OTB Clubhouse.
Hopefully everyone had a wonderful week. We want to apologize for not dropping an episode this week. We were supposed to have a special guest come on. I'm not sure if he's going to be coming on or not, so we're going to just kind of move forward. Hopefully he pops in while we're here live. And and then we can answer some questions and stuff and see whatever you guys want to talk about. And then you also make sure that we are actually live on the stations. Make sure we're live everywhere. Yes, we are. We're good to go. So, all right, Mo. So what's on the dock, man?
Basically, I want to. I'm just waiting to see more people join in so we get into the weekly review. But basically, what we want to do this week is you want to make sure you're going with an open mind. Usually, when I prepare for the weekend, I have a bias going in, and then I'll have a level. The moment it goes against me, I'll get off. This is probably one of the few weeks where I'm going in with an open mind because everything will come down to what the CPI number comes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of other stuff happening. There's bond auction happening. I think it's one of the biggest ones on Monday. And then you've got quad bitching this entire week. So this week is very crucial. The last meeting that we had by Powell was Friday. And a lot of people were paying attention to it. There was nothing crazy he was going to say. So it wasn't really any key event. He wasn't going to say anything different from last week. Jackson Hole was the event where people were watching to see if this guy's pivoted or not. He clearly told us that he hasn't pivoted, and we're still following the schedule for QT, which brings me to another point that this month we're doing a quantitative tightening for $95 billion. Every Thursday, you can actually see how much the Fed's done. So last Thursday, they did close to $8 billion in quantitative tightening. If you guys look in the past, the way we've done QT is it takes 2 weeks for it to actually pick up pace, and that's when they go heavy. So we've done eight this Thursday, and let's see what we do this coming Thursday, and then we can go from there. The CPI expectation for this month, for last month, are 8.24%. Wall Street's hoping we're going to come around 8%. Now, just so give you an idea, sometimes we're in a phase in the market where good news is bad news is good news. In
Mm-hmm.
this case, if CPI comes lower, it is going to be a very good news. It's going to tell you that Fed's doing their job and they brought the inflation down. It will cause a rally in the market. um, I'm going to get a little complicated here. There's a gamma wall, which you can say a resistance as SPX 4100. We break that, we will go bullish. Like we could see 50 to 100 points move within that week. So we could see 4150 to 4200 this week. However, if the CPI numbers come higher, that's really bad. And I'm going to start shorting all the liquid stocks. That's probably what I'm going to look at. Apple, all the garbage, small caps, probably look at shorting them. But so on Monday, only playing indexes, right? I'm not going around like buying calls or puts. Monday is playing just levels. I got into the Apple calls. Apple broke 157.5. That was the gamma wall. We should see 160 on Monday, regardless of CPI, because CPI comes in on Tuesday. In terms of Monday positioning, the way I'm thinking is we've been moving up for a while now. For about a week, we've gone up. If I was to position myself for a bad CPI, I would start selling and getting hedges. So I could see how Monday can close red because we've had 4 or 5 days worth of rally. So people would want to take the profits before CPI. So the best way to hedge based on historical data is start buying puts and start taking profits, which could mean close red would be for Monday. Monday we should open green. Historically, Friday green means Monday green, but closing might be red because of CPI. Come CPI though is when we're gonna know exactly what to do. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm watching. I'm gonna quickly share the chart here. All right, so this is SPX for daily. So the daily, each candle represents daily, and then you have the 50 moving average. And the whole point of the 50 moving average and the why I have it is just know algos have things programmed based on moving averages. So algos will start buying over 50 and they'll start selling under 50. Right now we're at 50. Let me label this for you so it's easier. we're looking around 40.31. Again, this is moving average. It's not a solid number. We don't have supply until, let me label that for you. 41.54 is when the supply starts on daily and it goes 4,200. That's what I'm saying. If the CPI numbers are good, we can see. So Tuesday number comes, we could easily see 41.50 to 4,200 between Tuesday and Wednesdays. If it comes bad, we go back to demand right here. Very clean chart. Like that's why I said it's a money making week. It's a very crucial week. So 38, 90, 39, 30, those are the two level. Let's see if we ping pong here, but this is the range we have so far. We break this, we will, it will go, let me just zoom out. It will go bullish, but I feel like this is kind of what we have. We've got about a 70 points upside and roughly 100 points downside, depending on where the CPI comes in, because what you have to understand is when some good news or some bad news comes in, the market will react to it. After the reaction, you'll see a balance, which means once we've achieved either 70 plus or 100 minus, you will see a balance where people are going to eat up that mood, consolidate, and then you get the real move. That's why they said the first reaction is never the real move. The real move happens the second position. So that's what you have to watch out for. Mark, anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, no. So I do have some stuff to add to this. So are you still thinking that if we do break that supply level, right? Are you ignoring all the macro economics when it comes to that, or are you still? It's just like temporary bullish run.
It's temporary, right? So let me give you an example. So let's say CPI number comes in amazing, it's low. It's 8%, 7.5, whatever. We go to 4,200. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you why. Because if they actually start doing quantitative tightening, where they're saying they've done 8 billion out of 95 billion, which leaves us to what, 87 billion? Bro, if they go 87 billion this month, it doesn't matter what the charts are saying. QT is me going into your wallet and taking cash out. Increasing the interest rate is a choice for you at that point. You're like, should I be buying or should I not be buying? I'm impacting your borrowing, a cost of borrowing, but at the end of the day, you still make the choice if you're going to buy that car or not. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
But QT, I'm not giving you a choice. I'm going right into your wallet and taking half the amount. And then that's it. It's forced. And so they're trying to control the demand, the reducing demand by increasing interest rate, and they're trying to fix supply by trying to fixing the supply chain issue. But I don't think they're able to fix the supply chain issue because they can't control what's happening with Russia and Ukraine and with China and Taiwan. Like the biggest thing I saw was that $1.1 billion weapons package for Taiwan that US is about to issue, which in my opinion, like they're making things worse by printing this money because the QT is not going to work if they keep doing that, which what that means is if they're still looking at a 2% inflation at the end of the year, they need to up the QT because interest rate again is a choice, and people aren't the smart when it comes to choice because they'll just go on payment plans. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to touch on that arms deal that you were just talking about, by the ways, from Biden. I'm going to talk about that on our next episode because I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into it than the time that we have here, because we do have a special guest. He is here, ladies and gentlemen. He did show up. So we're super excited. You guys got the information that Mo wanted to cover real quick, and now we're going to go into our guest. Remember, everyone, be respectful, be kind, but this is your chance to have a conversation with SG, which is his name is Stockad. He has a podcast as well, but he is a profitable futures trader who is actually successful and does this for a living. If you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about him, if you are questioning his background, just go on my channel, Trading with a Dummy. I do have an interview that I did with him on there. It was great, two-parter. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause real quick for Stockad. What up, man?
What's going on, man? What's good with you?
Yeah, I'm calling you out. You were late. Ooh, you were late.
almost didn't make it, man.
Nah, I appreciate you coming on. We had a backup plan just in case. But we have an audience here. People are still tuning in. There's not that many people, but thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. I wonder if yeah, man. So you're a futures trader. This entire summer, obviously, the volume's been pretty low, right, Mo? I mean, Mo's by the way, if you guys haven't met, Mo, this is SG, this is Mo. He's an options trader. He doesn't do futures. You do futures. You don't do options. So it works out perfectly for people to kind of get an idea of the different sides of the spectrum when it comes to trading, because there's a way to make money in all aspects of things. There's people who just trade strictly stocks, not options. They just buy shares and then sell them for like a dollar move and et cetera. And then there's the futures market, and then there's options trading. So Mo, do you have any questions for SG before we get to the audience?
Well, yeah. So SG comes. He's the top 10% of all the traders. I just want to say the fact that he's profitable makes him the top 10% for day traders. I've spoken to a lot of experienced trader, and there's a lot of people trade, and it's kind of like a lot of people play sports, but they're not really playing professionally. So there's a lot of traders out there, but a lot of traders aren't professional traders. SG is an anomaly. So I would love to know, like, how did you transition from just trading and like you're just in the market to becoming profitable? That's because that's how you become a professional trader, because you're actually making money. So at what point were you like, okay, this I'm actually making money? Like, how did that transaction happen for you?
Okay, so all right, so let's see. So there was a couple stages in my career where I did make some money. Like right before what I'm doing now, I was it wasn't consistent. I was making money, but I lost a lot of money. So with the strategy that I was using before, and one day I think I lost like I still have all the notes, but I lost like 26,000 or something. I'm not on one trade. It was like several trades. They were my like really good setups, and I was like, look, this I gotta change. I need more information. So I went back to my roots. I started looking at tape, started reading time and sales again. Luckily, I was taught that a few years ago. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I learned that. And I went back to the basics. I went back to like support and resistance. I went back to level 2 time and sales, volume. Doing those types of things. And I think what really saved me is my ability to collect data. Like I journal a lot. Like I journal a lot. Like a lot. Like I'm a nerd. Like when it comes to I journal a lot. Like matter of fact, last week I was I was trading from like 8:30, 9:30 in the morning, and then I kept studying until like 10 o'clock at night. And I didn't even drink. I forgot. I forgot to like get up and work and do some other shit. My wife's like, "Yo, you gonna eat? You gonna do anything?" I'm like, I just, I was locked in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get in those moments, man, like where you got to get shit done. This is a performance business. So if you're not performing at a high level on low quality days and high quality days, because then that's where your problems are going to occur at. And a lot of times traders don't realize what days are good and bad. And the market will tell you. It'll tell you before you start to trade, unless you're just, it depends on what kind of trader you are. For me personally, the market tells me if this is going to be a day for me to make good money or not. From a probability standpoint, even on a low probability, it's still a chance for it to work really well that day. But those are the days where I really don't put a lot of risk on, or I don't trade at all.
Yeah.
So just having that information, all the data I collect, and that's what saves my ass. Excuse my language, but that's what, you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
that's what got me in a lot of trouble. Like, not like blowing up my accounts. Like, you know what I'm saying. Like, so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for collecting all that data. I'm thankful for not screwing that stuff up, because me having that information, I was able to look at, okay, what's working for me and what's not. And then I do a lot of crazy audits on myself. I hold myself extremely accountable. It's not the market's fault. It's not trading with a dummy's fault. It's not my wife's fault. It's my fault. Whatever happens is because of me. So I hold myself extremely accountable. And I'm not, and I think that, and I record all my trades too. So I actually use OBS Studios. It's free. I record all my trades, and I do a lot of work. Like, matter of fact, I'm gonna open this up. I have a Discord for myself. It's not a plug, but I have a Discord for myself where for my own notes. No one's in there, just me. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
kind of do the same thing. Actually, I got a Discord as well. I mean, I have some friends and stuff in there, but they can't really respond. It's just kind of me tracking all the
yeah.
shares I bought, the reason why I bought it, when I'm getting out my charts, and I kind of learned journaling from Mo. Honestly, I mean, I know I've always heard it, journal, 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 but Mo was really the one who was like, "Dude, you got to journal every single day. That way, you can actually see how you're performing. Because otherwise, you're just assuming you could have 2 great days during a week and 3 bad days, or your wins could not outdo your losses." But you still feel like, oh, I did good, but you really didn't.
That's the thing though. Like, throughout the month, man, for me personally, I'm only gonna have maybe, especially in non-earning seasons, non-volatile seasons, I'm only gonna have 2 or 3 days where it's 3 to 5 days where it's really good for me out the whole month. So that means I have to trade at a high level on bad days. I have more bad days. What I mean by bad, I mean like low probable days
Yeah.
where the volume is low, where there's news in the afternoon or news at 10 o'clock. That messes with the way I trade. I can't, because they'll chop the price up. You know what I'm saying? Or I can see it on level two. Level two is stacked on both sides, so there's not a lot of price movement, or time and sell is just really moving really slow. So in the order ranges from support to resistance, from resistance to support, the ranges are really tight, and Nasdaq don't like that. Nasdaq doesn't like a lot of real tight levels nearby each other. They don't like that, so price will chop around in there. So the so that's what it happens more than not. So out of the 28 days, whatever the month is that I got to trade, I'm probably only going to have 3 or 4 days where they're like really good days. So on the other days, the other 20 days or whatever, 20, other 22, whatever days it is, 70% of those are going to be low quality days, low probability days. Then you might have a few in there that are like mid probability days. So it's really just about preserving mental capital and preserving your financial capital. And I think that from a long term perspective, you see it all the time on Twitter or social media, like, guys will post their charts and saying they're doing good, great. I don't fight that battle no more, but it's just annoying because it's like they're showing it every day. Like every day is not a high quality day. It's almost impossible. Like, how it is on Twitter, no one loses. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Talk about
So
it all
that's
the
that kind
time.
of thing.
Yeah, we talked about that before multiple times on our channel. We always talk about how you don't know the losses that some of these people take on Twitter, and that a lot of times they will just post the wins. They never post the losses. It's part of
Yeah.
the marketing strategy to also kind of inflate your ego on Twitter. Because if you think about it, Twitter is really it's ego. Who who can I prove that I'm a great trader or
Yeah.
investor?
And I don't, as far as the ego thing goes, like, there's nothing wrong with having an ego. We're fucking traders. Like, I got a chip on my shoulder. Yeah, I pop shit, I talk shit. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. I think that for me, I don't care about an attitude of someone. I like that. I like seeing someone that's good at their job and can talk some shit. Who cares? It shouldn't be no another man shouldn't be upset about another man's how he feels about himself. That's weird to me. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care that this guy or you or whoever is good at what if you're good at your job, talk your shit. Who cares? But it's the thing, like you were saying with the ego thing, like where people are afraid or they don't want to show that other side. I don't care about talking about the losses and blowing up accounts. I've spoken on all that stuff a million times. I mean, that shit don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, for me, like I said, for me, like, it's just important that I keep myself accountable. So that's why, like, back to this thing, like my journal notes, like, this is my daily task. I don't know if y'all can see that shit, but
Yep.
like,
Okay.
every day, like, I gotta go over my low probability, go over my high probabilities, go over the high time frame outlook, go over my financial capital plan. I have a daily financial capital plan for risk and for me to put on more risk. If I do good for a certain amount of time, I can give myself a risk bump, so I can put on
Hmm.
more risk. Because that's important. I think of, if you're good at your job, go. I'm the type of guy. I'm an aggressive trader. When I'm doing my thing, as far as not taking big losses, not screwing up things, and I'm consistently profitable, and everything's checking out, and I'm building my account, then I'm going to put on more risk. I'm not just going to keep the same risk on. So these are the things that I do every day. These little tasks. I'm trying to fix my phone there. Hold on.
No,
So,
yeah, we definitely see
you
it,
know
and
what I'm saying? So that's every day. Like, and then look, I log my recordings. I log my weekly trades, my weekly notes, review I do all that shit like every day. How did you do through, look at the last one. Financial capital plan. How did you do versus low versus high probability days? Like that's important to hold yourself accountable. So I don't know who does that. I don't know if there's a lot of people that do that every single day. Do that
So,
shit every day.
so I have a question. We'll go over the questions people have. So you have a very unique perspective, and like a lot of people don't have what you're talking about is called extreme accountability, where
Right.
no matter what the fuck happened, it's my fault.
Right.
Very few people are actually conditioned that way. Most of the society is more so victim personality, like it happened because market did this to me or people are after me. So how do you get that perspective?
Cause I don't give a fuck. I mean, I think a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just looking to be a part of something. They're looking to be coddled, and I don't care. I just want to do my job as a man, as a person, as a husband, as a dad, as a trader. All that shit don't mean nothing to me. I don't care that I have 30,000. You told me about this thing earlier today, and I just shared it. I don't. I don't really care about. I don't know how to use that word. Clout. I don't care about
Hmm.
a lot of things that other people give a fuck about.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be talking to me if I wasn't disciplined in my trading. You'd be like, shut the fuck. You just like anybody else, SG. So I wouldn't be here. So in my opinion, I have one job, and that's to stay consistently profitable. You know what I'm saying? Or I wouldn't have
Absolutely.
30,000 people following me on Twitter. I wouldn't have you trying to say, hey man, come up here and talk to us. I wouldn't. No one would care. My wife would be kicking me in my ass because I'm blowing up my accounts and losing money, right? So
Yeah.
no one would give a shit. You know what I'm saying? So my job is just to be extremely disciplined and accountable, and I think that that's a dead art in our industry. Like I get tons of people messages me and they're like, what's the next ticker or what's the next this or that. Like, and this real things that this should be obvious for them. Like they'll ask me, when does quarter one start? Go Google this shit. Why are you asking me? Like there's
Yeah.
no one wants to work no more, bro. I just told you I was in the office for like 19 hours. And then the next day I did it again. That's what I'm saying. People don't want to work. They just want someone else to do it, shit for them, to hold their hand and be a part of something special. And we're all in a group. I'm not giving a shit about none of that. My job is to be a trader. That's why I don't focus on selling anything. I don't want to sell nothing because I don't have time to be holding people's hands. It's just dumb. You know, that's just not my thing. But like as far as like I am thinking about doing a webinar, like a 4-hour webinar, for like probabilities, for discipline, for
Oh, that's breaking news.
yeah.
Ooh,
I think
'cause you-
yeah, I think I might do that. Like show and I record all my trades, so I was gonna show like how I read time and sales level 2, how I go through my journaling, all that kind of shit. But I'm charging. It's a 4-hour webinar. I'm gonna charge. I don't know how much. It's not gonna be millions of dollars. It may be like $100. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. But I am gonna charge for it. It's my time, and it's something that I'm thinking about doing. I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, and just real quick before we get to the question that's right there, everything you guys just heard, and we always preach about it quite often. Contrary to my name, Trading with a Dummy, like I'm in the process of learning to become a professional trader, like proficient at it consistently. I have a certain goal, 2 years of being proficient and profitable. Then I can consider myself a actual trader, right? But what you guys have just heard is you see SG doesn't make it sound easy. He literally puts in hours and hours and hours. Look, I talked to this guy. I know this guy like literally on the weekends he's still doing work. Same thing with Mo. Like me and Mo have met in person. We're friends. And same thing, dude. The guy puts in a lot of work to get to where he is at. And a lot of people don't do that. And I would even admit that sometimes I myself don't put in all the work that I should be putting in to get where I need to. And I'm not holding anyone else accountable for it. It's really myself. Because honestly, all the resources that I have and the people that I know, there should be no reason that I'm still kind of at this mid level. I should
Well,
be sticking
how
my
long
feet
how long you been trading?
So taking it serious for about a year. And I know
Oh
you've
yeah,
been
yeah.
doing
You
it a lot
definitely should
longer.
be.
Yeah.
You definitely are where you're supposed to be.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well,
that's
I'm
good.
teasing. I'm teasing, but I'm serious at the same time
Yeah.
because it's a lot. It's a lot to do with like you gotta sample things. You gotta sample different ideas, right? Technically, right? You gotta sample ideas, whether it's technically, fundamentally, and see things that speak to you personally. Like at one time, I was trading I'm not gonna say the name of it. I'm not getting into all that. But anyone ever follow me, they know what I used to do. But the last thing that I used to do before I do what I do now is a very predictive style trading. And in
Mhm.
real time, in that time, I thought that was good for me, But as I kept sampling and kept journaling and kept looking at other things, I'm like, yo, look, that might not fit my personality like I thought it did. So it's a lot of self-awareness. That's why I'm telling you, like back to what you were saying, you've been doing this for a year. Man, you got a lot that you got to go through, not just the learning different styles, but also learning yourself within this journey. Because that's really what it's about, like learning yourself and learning how you want to present yourself, like how you want to be in the market.
Absolutely.
There's just so many ways to trade, like, and it really boils down to how you how you conduct yourself, and then also study. It's like collect your data. Sorry. So it's really about how you collect your data also, because if you don't collect the data and study the shit, how you gonna know? How you gonna audit yourself? How you gonna know when you're doing good or not, and what's working for you or not? That's what saves me. That's what really saves my ass. Not me learning from somebody. You gotta learn from somebody. That's fine. But
Yeah.
you want to collect data. You want to sample all these different things, and this shit could take anywhere from 2 to 4 years. And the problem with society, we all want things done now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time to wait 2, 3, 4 years. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it is, and I feel like that's probably a lot of reasons why a lot of guys crash out and they never come back. They just didn't give it enough time. They didn't have enough. They didn't collect data the right way. They didn't sample different styles of strategies. They didn't test themselves and see what works for them, and not be worried about someone saying that they should do something or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really just you finding out about you, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
and that
No,
takes a long
definitely.
time in these markets. It takes a long time.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. So we got like another 10 minutes, so we was going to get to the questions real quick because that's what a lot of people are probably here for. So the first question is from, I don't know how to say her name. Is it Rijo? It doesn't matter. What time frame do you guys stay in a trade?
What time frame do you guys stay in
Yeah,
the
so I'm
trade?
assuming the question is like, how long do you stay in the trade, right? So for me, it really just depends on what I'm doing. If I'm swing trading, day trading, whatever it is, what I've been doing recently because of the way the market is, I've been scalping. What about you, Mo? You do options trading. How long do you typically stay
I
in?
think SG brought up a good point, and that's you got to know yourself. So a lot of people should just fucking stay away from scalping because the volatility they can't
Mhm.
handle it. So buy more time, but it depends. So I could say I do scalping, but Mark does swinging. So that's what he should be doing. So the trade I take, he might not be the one he wants to take. So it depends on the personality you have and the kind of capital you have as well, and what you're playing in. Like if you're playing 0 days, scalping, right? You're looking at a 5 minute chart. Now I'm looking at, let's say, Oxy or XOM oil plays, and I know it's going to go up in October,
Shut the
November.
door.
I might go for a longer play. So it really depends on how much volatility you can handle, how much money you have, and what kind of trader you are.
Okay, what about you, SG? How long do you typically stay in a trade?
I trade the Nasdaq and YM. So like that's what's that Nasdaq and US 30 really.
Hmm.
And I trade from I'm on a 1 minute chart. I'm a scalper. So and Nasdaq and US 30 gives these big wide ranges. So where I can make I'm usually in setups that are anywhere from 50 to 150 point trades. I'm on a 1 minute chart. So I'm usually done within one trade. Will usually take me anywhere from 4 to 15 minutes, and I'm done.
Okay. Just before everyone gets excited, just so you understand, it's completely two different ways of trading that Mo does. Again, Mo's on the options, SG's on futures. Definitely complete different risk factors as well. So just understand that. Because I know you're probably like, oh, wait, he makes so much money just trading for 5 minutes. Trust me, guys, you need to actually learn this craft first. And I
Wait,
think go ahead.
no, you said a good point. You said that, yeah, it's good money, but I just said earlier, I lost. Is someone going to take that like 25, $30,000 in a day? That shit happens, and it wasn't
Yeah.
from one trade. It was from several trades. It wasn't like I was YOLO. I don't do none of that shit. But yeah, there's a other side of this. So don't just be like, oh man, this guy's making a killing. I do good for myself and my family. We live really comfortable. But
Yeah.
that shit took me a long time to get here.
Okay, the next question. So I mean, I know there's some questions that we skipped there, but he pretty much answered it. He explained like what we do if it's day or days or weeks. We kind of explained that as well as what instruments he trades, which SG said YM and Nasdaq. So next question: how can a beginner trader still work? Wait, how can a beginner trader that still works start?
Charting
Sure.
journal. It's all one sentence.
Yeah. So
You want me
charting,
to answer?
journaling
You
all
want me to
day.
go first or y'all?
Yeah, go for that one. How can a
So
beginner
how
trader
can a
start?
beginner trader that still works chart journal all day is not? It's called time management is king, man. Time management. I used to work everywhere. I was a janitor. I worked at a jail. It didn't matter. So I would drive to work listening to mentors. I would drive home listening to mentors. I used to run my own business before all that, and I would be in Home Depot and Lowe's getting material with my headphones in, listening. Take showers with the iPad on the sink, listening, taking notes. Time management. I was always studying, even when I did work. So that's not. It isn't. You said it's not an option. It is an option. There's no excuse. You just gotta do what you gotta do. You
Yeah,
gotta cut
and
off.
here,
You gotta really time management. So if you've been partying, if you're out drinking, smoking, you're out doing this and that, you're out here doing all these different events, you gotta cut that shit out. You gotta figure out what you want to do in life. You gotta say, look, this is who I want to be. And it's a lot of sacrifice. Like I lost a lot when I did all that, failing and losing and studying and taking notes and journaling and blowing up accounts and trying to figure myself out. I lost a lot. I lost friends. I lost family members. Close. This is true story shit. My health deteriorated. I was so tunnel vision on this shit. I didn't care about nothing else. Now that I have this time, now it's like all these old demons I'm dealing with. Like it's like psychology. I got all this free time. It's weird, yo. Like I'm dealing with health. I'm dealing with working out every day. I'm dealing with a lot of different shit that I wasn't before because I'm trying to balance everything. I'm trying to get it all back now. But when I was locked in, I didn't care about nothing else. That's just how I did it. So yeah, it is an option. You just got to do it. You got to find a way to do it. It's 24
yeah.
hours in a day, so there ain't no excuse.
And Bernie, here's a suggestion, especially if you say you don't have time.
You have time.
Record or do playback and treat it like it's a real market after you get off of work, and journal and paper trade and treat it as if you were really trading live. That can give you some sort of practice as well. So
That's what
there's
like,
definitely an opportunity.
that's a fact. And like I'm saying, like time management, like figure out your schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know you work 9 to 5, maybe you get up in the morning. Maybe at night when you get home, prep, get everything ready. Get up in the morning, and then go to work. And then on your lunch break, look at some charts or whatever you can do. And when you get off work, take care of the kids, family, whatever. You got to do it. The weekends you can't be hanging out. It's time to work. You just got to do it. It's just no other way. It's no other way around it.
Yeah. Next question is, where can I find an online trading journal? Excel spreadsheet. That's all you need. Or Discord like SG does and
I use
myself.
Discord. I love Discord. Me personally, I love Discord. Excel sheet. I mean, yeah. You could get a man. Look, I still look at this shit right here. Look, you see this pre-market? My crazy ass handwriting. Listen. I still write shit down. Look, mid probability sessions like pre-market value 50 to 60. This don't stop, man. This doesn't stop. So it doesn't matter what you do it on, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just journal anything, piece of paper, it doesn't matter.
Yep. So next question, what type of account size is a good size to start with? Mo, you want to go for that one?
Ooh.
So if you're trading options, I'll tell you this, I'm not trying to be an ass. If you think you have a big account, you can take it to zero very fast if you don't know what you're doing. So 200, 500, 700, the smaller you start, the more you're going to learn about risk management and how to have patience and discipline. A lot of people start with 5 to 10 grand. Your mistakes will cost you more money. It's that simple.
All right. What about USG?
Let's see. Wait, you didn't tell me you didn't know about that. My bad. Someone on Twitter. My bad. So, what account size to start with? Okay, that's a tough question because I don't think you should be starting with any money. I think you should be paper trading at first. I think you should be. Now, everyone says, well, paper trading is, I've always traded paper like it was real. And the best way to do that, don't start with a $100,000 paper account if you know you're not going to start with $100,000 in the real account. Start with 500. If that's what you're going to put in the account, 500 or 1,000 in real money, then put 500 or 1,000 in the paper account. We worrying about putting money in the account if you don't know what you're doing. But let's say you know what you're doing. Let's say this guy that asked that, let's say he knows what he's doing and he's ready to go. Then that depends on what you're doing. You're doing like him. He does options. Are you doing futures? Then you need to look at the margins. Like if you're trading futures, NQ was 1,000. You had to have it's $1,000 per contract. That's
Per contract.
per
Remember,
contract.
1,000 per contract. If you fall below that contract, what happens, SG?
Oh yeah, margin call. So that's an issue. So my account, everyone's different. Like I have one that's 140,000, and one of them I have another one's got like 30,000. That's my one that I'm working in. That's the one I'm usually working in the most, the $30,000 one. But like I said, if you already know what you're doing, then you need to figure out how you trade, because the like he said earlier, the risk management stuff. Like you got to figure out how you want to. I'm aggressive. Like I don't believe in the whole 1-2% risk. Fuck, excuse my language, but fuck that. I'm trying to get paid. So when I see my setup, I'm start with a starter entry first. Very small contract size, because if I'm wrong, it's a small paper cut. But if that shit is starting to work and the tape is speeding up, level 2 is doing what I needed to do. Then I do something called dumping contracts, and I start dumping contracts into these positions. And then, and I'll probably be putting on about 15-20%. Don't listen. I know I sound crazy, but this is what I do. I don't play around when it's time to make money, personally. But I'll get to the next question.
All right, yeah, we got a few more minutes. So what percentage of win rate do you consider for an A+ setup? I'm assuming that question is probably for you, SG, because you always talk about A+ setups.
So he said, what percentage of win rate? Okay, well, it's pretty decent, but it doesn't come around a lot. But it's probably around 70%, 75%. But again, even if I'm wrong, I could be. Listen, this is the weird thing about this. Like right now, I have a 47% win rate, some shit like that. Like overall in my futures accounts, like 40, maybe 50, somewhere in there. It's low. Because I take a lot of small losses. But then when it works, I'm still profitable. So you know what I'm saying. So I don't really care about percentages. That's not a big deal. I think that's just something to entice newbies. You see guys with a 90% win rate or 95. That shit doesn't make, because that other 5%, you could lose really bad, and then you're not making any money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, A pluses will come around maybe like that's like a 70% win rate for sure. It's pretty high. Those are lovely, but I still start small, just in case I'm still wrong in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
You add on as a
Yeah, I scale in. Man. I call it dumping contracts, and I start scaling it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Mo does that too, right, Mo? You add on as you go up and shave off as you go up too. So, all right, next question. So if you scalp, how long do you stay in the trade? To the scalper in the upper right. So I guess they're assuming you, Mo.
So if you scalp, how long do you? Okay, so it all depends on what your goal is in terms of profit taking or level. I don't really care about percentages. I care about levels, because level is when you're aligned with the market. The level could take 3 minutes or 4 minutes, but if I'm in a scalp trade, it's no longer than 15 minutes. I'm in and out. The goal isn't to maximize profit, it's to cover my ass in terms of risk management, because if the trade goes against me, I'll lose fast too. Scalps are usually high volatility trades. I usually take them on SPX. So it's 0 day, time's running out, theta's against you, you have to be in and out.
Okay, thank you. And then next question by Dave C. If you could speak to yourself when you started this journey, what are some of the things you would warn yourself about? I think you could just go to my YouTube channel for my answer. Go ahead, Mo.
If you speak to yourself when you started this journey, what are some of the things you want? Well, the biggest thing is, man, comparing and watching the clout. When I fucking started, no one was losing too. Like I started 2020, people were only posting their profits, and the whole thing was follow me, I will take you to make you a millionaire. So my biggest learning was you got to go back in your zone, because you don't know what their risk tolerance is, if they're capping or not. You could literally make whatever the fuck you want, Photoshop whatever you want. You can actually do that. One of the big traders I followed, they put a $13 million out on Twitter, found out it was a paper account, right? And they're on the largest spaces on Twitter. Bazinga, TradingView, TrendSpider, they're all they're speakers for them. So look inward. Don't worry about who's doing what. Just figure out what your style is, what's your why, what's your goal, and just what he said, 100% extreme accountability. Everything's your fucking fault. So just focus on what you're doing wrong.
All right. What about you, SG?
Nothing. I wouldn't change shit. I wouldn't. All of it was worth it. All of it was worth it. I knew when I was dead ass broke, I was a janitor. If someone would have been like, man, you're gonna be there one day, you're gonna be all right, man, shit. I knew I was gonna be in this position, so I wouldn't change shit, man. I wouldn't change nothing. All the losses, all the late nights, all my wife mad at me about not paying bills on time. My credit was fucked up. Couldn't buy a pack of bubble gum with my credit. I wouldn't change none of this shit, man. None of it. Not
The
one
struggle is
bit.
what made you who you are.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
all right, next question. This is for you, SG, specifically. So, do you feel like 2 years in, you just began seeing the market differently and remembering you've seen this setup before?
Wait, what did you say? Do you feel like in 2 years you've seen the market differently? Remember, you've seen stuff before. It's like, what do you mean? Wait, he's saying that I've seen it before?
No, I think what he's trying to ask you is, like, do you feel like within a 2 year period, did you start seeing the market differently? I'm assuming, and remember you've seen this setup before, like just watching the market for 2 years. Like, do you remember seeing the same setups over and over?
Oh,
Like it's repetitive.
I mean, yeah, there's algorithms, man. So that shit's real, and there's price actions that reoccur over and over and over. So yeah, you definitely gonna see things play out. But me, the way I trade now, I don't even use, I don't trade patterns on charts. So I look for areas where the tape starts to speed up, where there's more orders coming in at, and then I kind of look at the chart and see if there's some technical analysis, technical formation. But as far as like a head and shoulders pattern, or as far as like a breakout wedge, I don't do nothing. I don't look for that on the chart. So but they're there, but I don't trade that way. So me personally, I don't look for patterns on. I think that shit's a waste of time. But that's just me though. Don't get me started on that.
Look, okay, SG's trying to be really humble. This is the fact. Look, he doesn't use ICT method. There, it's out.
No, I don't. I
think that's what a lot of people are asking. He does not use the ICT method.
I used to. I have no problem with the guy. I don't have a problem. Look, to each his own. Everybody do what they want. I'm good. It's not for me no more. I thought it was. Okay.
Cool. All right. Last question.
What you want me to do?
Last question. All right. How do you figure your loss percentage while scalping options and getting stuck in a trade? When I take a loss, it's about 40% per trade because I don't want to take an L. So that's probably pretty much for you, Mo, when it comes to options. I guess we could also probably touch on that with SG as well real quick on the future side, but go for it.
So let me ask you this. Why do you pick 40%? Because the market has no connection with your 40%. You need to look at things based on levels. So let's say if I say I'm going to have a stop loss at 20% and the trade reverses at 19 or 21, you're screwed, right? Because you give yourself that 20%. Look at the levels, right? Look at where the risk support is. Look at where supply demand is and base your levels according to that. That's one. Second is when you're new, write down your stop loss before you get in or have it fed into the system. A lot of people don't like having a stop loss in because they feel like they're going to miss out, but have the level withdrawn within, and once that level hits, you're out. So I wouldn't focus too much on the 40%. I would look at that level where you want to get out, and the best trades are the one where the level you want to get out are very close. So let's say you get into Apple at 150 and your stop loss is at 148. That's how you want to get into the trade. Now let's say Apple's at 150 but your stop's at 145. That's a bad entry. You should just wait for a retest or something.
So wait, he said he takes 40% losses.
So this is an options. So it's a not
okay.
like futures, but like for you example, like what is typically on a point scale for futures? When do you take an L, SG? Like when will you exit if it seems like it's going in the wrong direction?
I mean, my stops are pretty tight, I guess, but I'm such a weird trader, man. Like I got recordings. I will have to show y'all like where I play because I just don't trade it like, oh, it's 20 points or it has to be 10. I don't care about all that shit. But it's just what I do is I look for the orders on time and sells. When I see the orders and I see the tape speeding up and I see level 2 doing what I needed to do, then as it start, let's say it's a short and it's starting to sell and price is starting to break down. The last candle's high, the wick, on the 1 minute. That's where I put my stop at. Right there, right before, you know what I'm saying? So, and then that's just moving, and that may be 7 points, and maybe 10. I mean, I don't calculate that shit. I don't really calculate it, but I take real small cuts. Like I may take 5 or 6 losses in the morning before I make one, but then 4 or 5 losses, I may only be down $800-900, and then when I do hit, I may make like $3,000, $4,000. You know, in this market we're in right now, you know, when earnings season comes back around, there's gonna be bigger returns. But right now, that's where I'm at. But yeah, I don't care about loss. Like I don't get stuck in I don't, like you said, because I don't want to take an L. I don't care about losses. Like I think people got to get out of that. You're going to take losses. It's okay. Like I think you need to lower your size or go back to paper trading, because I don't care about taking a loss. That shit don't bother me. And before it did, I used to be sweating and panicking, and I was terrible years ago. Like I wouldn't even push the button. Like, but it's just a journey. That's why I'm saying earlier. You gotta go through all that shit. And that's something that a teacher can't teach you. You got to experience that. And the best way to experience it is to obviously go through it and then journal it. Journal how you felt. Journal how the trade reacted. Go back and look at your P&L. Go back and look at what worked and what didn't. Try to figure out why. Say, damn, okay, well, when I trade on news day, when I trade before news comes out, I usually screw that up. When I trade in tight ranges, I usually take losses. When I trade with low volume, relative to the whatever market we're in, I normally take more losses than that. So you just got to look at all these things and audit that shit. The only way you're going to do that is if you're collecting the data, and then you got to journal it. If you're not doing that, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But you got to be okay with taking those, though.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, hey, SG, thank you for coming on. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Before you guys leave, hold on one second and SG stand by. But everybody, you guys can find me on my YouTube channel, Trading with Demi. I'm going to start dropping my new content starting next week. Yes, I'm finally going to. Thank you. I'm coming back with some different weird stuff. So definitely check it out. Mo, where can they find you?
OTB Clubhouse on Instagram and OTB Shark Mo on Twitter.
Are you on Twitter, bro?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me.
He's into it. We'll talk. We'll talk after this real quick. And then SG, where can they find you?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter.
No, your podcast, man. Pitch your podcast.
But I do whatever I do when
It doesn't matter. But it's on Spotify. Too. What's it called? What's your podcast called?
I almost said Trader with a Dummy, man. Trader's Life.
Trader's Life, ladies and gentlemen, is on Spotify. I believe it's on.
I just dropped one last week, man. So,
well, there you go. Now, I appreciate you coming on, man, and hopefully we could do this again. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. And once again, we apologize for not dropping an episode this week, but this is why we did this live. So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Until next week, everybody, peace out.